Hello friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Jennifer and I am a hot mess on a mission. And y'all know my mission is to get healthy, get organized, and get busy creating a life that I love. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about something that I'm afraid sometimes we lose sight of. And that is taking care of ourselves. How many of you just put yourself on the back burner because you're taking care of everybody else, like your kids or grandkids or your spouse or your animals or your parents or whoever it may be, siblings? You're always doing something, or your church, you're always giving and taking care of other people, but you don't stop and take care of yourself. And this can be anything from not taking the time to eat right, to prepare healthy meals for yourself, or not even taking the time to put some forethought into what you're going to eat ahead of time. It may be just not getting that exercise that you think you don't have time for. See how I said that? Um, Maybe it's not taking care of your stress, like allowing yourself to get really stressed out about things. And I say that, y'all. I know I allow myself to get too stressed. And while on one hand, and tell me if you know what I'm talking about here, maybe you've gone through this as well. Um, on one hand, my 95% of my stress comes from one particular person or situation and that I do not have control over, okay? And so I cannot change that person, that situation. There's nothing I can do. And I just have to accept that this is the way it is. And so that's really hard, right? Because if you accept that and you can't change it, it's on one hand it feels like, well, there's no hope for it ever getting better, but that's not true, y'all. That's not true. You can pray about it and you can work on what you can control, okay? But that person that stresses us out, I know, and we can't do anything about it. And we can't get rid of that stressor, okay? They're a stressor. But that doesn't mean that you can't take measures to reduce your stress. Now, one option, may be to remove yourself away from that person, but that may not always be an option, okay? So what do you do when you have this chronic stressor in your life? How do you deal with that? How do you keep from making yourself sick? Okay? So let's talk a little bit about that. There are different things that you can do, okay? There are medications that you can take that a doctor will prescribe, like for anxiety and whatnot, and that does help some people. You can take magnesium. I highly recommend this because magnesium it does like between 300 and 500 different functions in your body, and a large part of that is your central nervous system, your brain, it just, one of those moments where I have to refocus, y'all. Okay, magnesium is important for so many aspects of our bodies, and it is also critical in our fight, flight, or freeze, in our stress management, and what happens when we're really stressed. And that stress can be junk food, it can be something you eat, chemicals, it can be medicine, it can be emotional, mental stress at your job, the loss of someone. And it can be physical stress if you've been in an accident, if you've been injured, if you have chronic back pain. All of those things are stress, and your body treats them the same, and they send out these chemicals and whatnot in your body to address it. And when you stress, you're using up magnesium, and which depletes your magnesium. And when your magnesium is low, it is even harder for you to handle stressful situations. So let's say I've got all of the magnesium my body needs right now, and I run into a stressful situation, and it's stressful, but I handle it relatively well. And then let's say that my my magnesium is depleted because I've been doing all of this stressing, and I'm not taking magnesium, and so I'm just really stressed out, and my magnesium is low, and I go into that same stressful situation. Well, when it's all over, I've done flown off the handle, and I'm crying, and everything's falling apart. That is what happens when we're not taking care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, and with supplements. If we need supplements, if we're depleting our magnesium, we need to be replacing it so that we can handle those stressful situations better. Okay? So that's one of the things that we can do. We can also make sure that we're setting aside time for us to de-stress, just to relax and kind of get away from thinking about the stress, whether it's reading a book, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube, just and I would really honestly truly recommend that you get out in nature, take a walk, get away from like social media, from screens and all that, and just give yourself time to enjoy nature, because that's going to help you feel a lot better. Not to mention, y'all, being outside, vitamin D, all that is so good for you. Getting exercise. Your body releases endorphins and dopamine and all of these positive chemicals that help you to feel good when you're exercising. And it lowers your cortisol. Now, if you're just walking and things like that, exercise can initially raise your cortisol as a stressor, but it's not in the chronic bad way. But then your cortisol goes back down. It can help reduce your cortisol. It can help reduce um your stress level. I'm sorry, y'all. It is late at night. I've been waiting a while to do this video because I had to wait for my husband to stop playing the game he was playing in here so he could go play a game in the living room with my son. So that was kind of a stressful little bit for me while I'm sitting here going, the later you go, the longer you take, the longer I gotta wait. So anyway, so I've been stressing a little bit too. So anyway, okay. So I'm going to try to keep it a little more concise now. So whenever you're stressing out, there are things you can do. And I want to make sure that you are taking the time to do that, whether that is sitting and having some tea, sitting on the front porch, walking around a lake or a large pond like I do. But here's another thing that I want you to be thinking about. In the upcoming year, are you going to allow yourself to just be you? Like, I think sometimes we get so stressed out about wanting to meet other people's expectations that we don't really allow ourselves to be who we really are. And so, are you going to let yourself be the person you are and say the things that you're thinking, as long as it's not, controversial. I'm not going to say controversial because half the stuff that comes out of my mouth is controversial. But instigating. You're not going to say anything that's passive aggressive or instigating or anything like that. But otherwise, are you going to stand up for yourself? Are you going to talk about the things that are important to you? Are you going to, if you feel like singing at the top of your lungs out in your front yard, are you going to do it, or are you going to worry about what other people think? So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about tonight with the few brain cells I have left, because it is close to my bedtime and my coffee. Did I even mention at the beginning of this video that when we sit down and talk like this, we're going to call it Java with Jen, because that's just how I'm feeling today. But I hope you found this video helpful. I'm sorry I'm kind of scattered today, but I just want to put it out there. This upcoming year, please, 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 take the time to take care of you. You are worth it. And on that note, I'll talk to you soon. I love you guys. Bye, y'all.